How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk a little bit speculative, if nothing else, something to keep your eyes on going forward as we slowly but surely learn more and more about patch 9.2. We had our first indication of what's to come. We had some data mining going on last week, and we've already found out that there are definitely some new materials and presumably an entire new sweep of profession crafts to be playing with come patch 9.2. So this got me thinking about some of the current materials and some of the prices and valuations we have of the current materials. And there was one that stood out. There's one that stood out from the crowd, and I want to talk about it for a couple of minutes today just to see if you guys share the same opinions as I do. I brought this up on our stream earlier on today, and there was a few of you in there that also decided that yes, this is a probability. So let's talk about it a bit more. Well, Nightshade is the material in question. For those that are not too aware, it is the rare herb that you can gather with herbalism, and is quite commonly now found in Korthia, in the Moor, and of course in the 4 regular Shadowlands zones. But what's special about this one? Well, the special thing about it is technically, by all standards, a rare material. But the problem is there's not a huge amount of heavy uses for it right now. Most of the time you're going to be looking at putting Nightshade towards flasks. It's used in the Crafter's Mark 3, I believe. If you happen to have an alchemist paired up with either a tailor, a blacksmith, a leatherworker, or a jewel crafter, it can be a nice combination there. But it's not peak raid season, so what's happened over the last few months at least is that the price of this Nightshade across most realms, this is not just EU, this is US as well. We'll back this up with some data in a minute. The average price of Nightshade has just got less and less and less and less and less and less and less. And it's getting to a point now where it's not hitting rock bottom, but there's a really good opportunity for you goblins out there that maybe you've got a little bit gold spare or are looking for an opportunity for a nice investment going into patch 9.2. So let's back this theory up. Why do I think that Nightshade might see a resurgence, and why do I think it's something to keep your eyes on the, going forward? Like I said, we'll back this up with a bit of data. Let's turn to our good friend, the Undermine Journal, real quickly. The Undermine... Hello, where'd it go? The Undermine Journal is a fantastic website for you guys to keep track of what's going on with material prices. You can see what's happening on other realms at the same time. It's a really good tool to use. This is the regional daily summary graph for Nightshade. This is for the EU currently. We'll look at the US in a second because I know I have lots of viewers from across the pond. We can see what's happening to it though. The red line here is the quantity of it available, and the blue bar is its overall region market value. We can see once patch 9.1 landed back in June now, you can see that the quantity of Nightshades massively spiked overnight because, as we said, it's readily available in Korthia. But as time has gone on, less and less people are actually investing their time into Korthia. Either they've completed it, they've quit the game, they're off doing something else, whatever the case may be. We hit a peak and the quantity is slowly but surely declining. But at that very same time, the regional prices also declined, but it's kind of plateaued a little bit now. You can see the same for the US. If we do a comparison between the graphs, the US variation is a little bit more extreme. Huge, great big spike in quantity, but that quantity is diminishing. The quantity available is going down and down and down and down and down. Yet the price is maintained relatively stable for a good while over in the US now. So what do we expect happening patch 9.2.5? How can we do a little bit of research to try and guesstimate what might happen? Well, let's go back an expansion. Let's go back one expansion and look at Battle for Azeroth. Now, of course, not everything is the same. There are some variables that will make the outcome slightly different, but back in Battle for Azeroth there was Anchorweed. Anchorweed was relatively easy to obtain in most of the BFA zones, but when Nazjatar and Mechagon came out, Nazjatar and Mechagon also came out with brand new materials, new zone for people to go to. And what happened to Anchorweed? Well, at the very, very point that Mechagon and Nazjatar came out, look what happened to the price of Anchorweed. This was a concoction of it no longer being so readily available in the main zone that people were playing, nobody really going back to the old zones to farming it, And on top of that, all of a sudden it being in massive, massive demand because anchorweed was still used in raid consumables and for a bunch of other reasons. And so what happened? The price of it absolutely spiked through the roof. The way that things are looking, it would not surprise me if Nightshade ends up doing the exact same thing. Assuming that Nightshade is still going to be used going forward, we can expect a huge spike in demand for Nightshade when patch 9.2 comes out. And because we already know there's new materials in the new zone, there's also a very good chance that the old materials won't be there. So there's an opportunity here to be had. I'm going to just finish off this video just by pointing out a couple of things from the PTR that also help reiterate this a little bit. That Crafter's Mark 3 is a material that we have available to us now. Going forward into patch 9.2, we're going to get Crafter's Mark 4. Crafter's Mark 4 is still going to continue to use Nightshade. It is also going to be using the first flower, the new material as well. We're also seeing Crafter's Mark of the first ones, once again, going to be using Nightshade again. So even those two things alone, and reiterate that, you know, Nightshade's still going to be used. If we get a new round of flasks, they're probably going to use Nightshade as well. And even if nothing else, one of the infusions, one of the new optional reagents that we know is coming in patch 9.2, hey presto, this is going to use Nightshade as well. There's going to be a big demand for Nightshade come patch 9.2, and at the moment, it's cheap. It's cheap. If you got some gold spare, consider putting some of it away for patch 9.2. My recommendation, based on the current prices, if you can buy it at anywhere sort of around the 10 gold mark, the worst thing that can happen is you lose 10 gold for every Nightshade that you buy. That's the worst thing that can happen if you never resell that Nightshade. The best case scenario though is it triples, quadruples, 5x's its value, and you take 10 gold for every one and you turn it into 50. It's a very, very strong likelihood the way that things look now. Invest with your own caution. The typical disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Do things at your own risk, and please don't invest all your gold in something like this. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it's something to keep your eyes on. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. Just a quick short one, giving you a bit of a heads up of something that might be changing. Remember to give the video a like if you enjoy this style of videos, and consider subscribing if you're new around here. But I've been Manthieus, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.